Great. Well, welcome. Good afternoon. How are you guys doing? Excellent. Great. My name is Brian Kilkenny. I work at the Prepatec here in Santa Anita, a little bit outside of Guadalajara. This is my second time here at Recrea, and I'm always happy to be here and talk to colleagues. I thought that was a really interesting talk about phonetics, and I'm going to use a little bit of her material in mine. I'm going to steal it really quick. So I'm here to talk to you about artificial intelligence. But first, I have a couple of questions for you. I'd like to get to know the crowd a little bit. So how many of you teach English or French in elementary schools? Can you raise your hand? Elementary school teachers? Okay, several. What about junior high schools? Junior high? All right, a couple more. And then high school, university? A few more. And adults? A couple in adults. All right, great. All right, welcome. I'm a high school teacher. I teach basic to advanced English in the high school levels. And AI, artificial intelligence, has really motivated my students. Okay, so what I wanted to share with you today is how you can use that in your teaching and how you can get your students to use it. But like I said, first I have a couple of questions. So first, raise your hand again. Do you currently use AI in your life every day? Yeah? Couple of hands, some so more or less, all right. And then in your classroom, do you use AI in your classrooms? All right, fewer, I saw about 5 or 6. All right, muy bien. Well, hopefully at the end of this, you'll be able to say you're ready to start including it more. Now, do you have any concerns about using AI in your classroom or at work? Anybody have a concern about AI? All right. Jacob, you want to share one of your concerns really quick? Or we'll wait till the end? All right, we're going to wait till the end. Because what I want to do is I want to show you that this is a new technology. But like other new technologies we've incorporated in our teaching, there's some bumps, there's some obstacles, but we're going to get over them. We're going to be able to do it. And the last one, do you think there are specific challenges to using AI in the classroom? This one I just want you to think about. And I'm going to have you reflect on these questions at the end of the presentation. So this is what I'd like to talk about. I'm going to give you a brief introduction about artificial intelligence, focusing mainly on generative AI. Then we'll get into some practical uses of how we can use AI in our classrooms and how we can ask our students to use AI to practice and to get better and improve their English. And then lastly, what we need to consider when using it. Like I said, it's not perfect. There are some obstacles, and we'll be able to go over those. All right? So AI, ChatGPT, which Christina mentioned in the last talk, really detonated this whole idea of teachers and normal people like us using AI. Before that, it was for programmers, it was for computer scientists, it was for NASA astronauts. It was kind of way out there. But now that we have these interfaces like ChatGPT and others, which I'll show you, it's a lot easier for the everyday person to use them. And so all of a sudden I heard about this about a year ago and started getting interested. My school, the Prepatec, Tec de Monterrey, started offering some classes, some talks. So I started getting involved in them. And finally I signed up for using AI in my classroom. And that's what I'm doing this semester, and that's what I want to share with you at the end of the presentation. So this is where we're at now. But how did we get here? We have AI, it's available, we can use it. But I started teaching about 25 years ago. And 25 years ago, those of you who are my age probably remember using overhead projectors with the acetates. Writing and then erasing and writing and erasing. Maybe you were able to print some out and reuse them, but if you made a mistake, you know, transparencies, that's where we started. And then thank God, laptop computers became more accessible. The schools were able to put in some projectors and we could show PowerPoint presentations that we could change, that we could add images and links and sound to. We could use Word to write our own worksheets, to keep track of our class lessons. We could use Excel to keep attendance records and to get grades easier. So all of these advances we were able to incorporate. After laptops and Microsoft Office, well, then we got into Google, the search engine. Oh my God, now I can search and I can get pictures in Pinterest. I can go into teaching platforms and I can get lots of different ideas for things that I don't know how to do. I can get games, I can get worksheets and all of that. Then finally, learning management systems like Blackboard, Google Classroom, Canvas. All of these started to make our job easier. With these learning management systems, now we had a place to put everything that we created. Students could turn their work in there, it would grade it. We could grade it there. Their grades were automatically calculated. Wow. And then soon, smartphones came out, and everybody had Google in their hand, and translators and calculators right at the touch of a button. And we also incorporated those, right? We start using Kahoots in classroom. We'll use WhatsApp, all right? We'll use Quizlets and other apps. We'll have them take pictures, record videos, all using their cell phones. So teachers, I want you to know that if I was able to incorporate all of these things in my teaching over the years, and I know you have too, we're going to be able to include AI without a doubt and with success, okay? These are some examples of artificial intelligence. I asked you, do you use artificial intelligence in your life? These are all examples of how we use artificial intelligence in our life. They're already there. Chatbots. How many times have you gone onto a web page and the little chat bot appears? How can I help you? Do you have any questions? Please let me know. Right? They're kind of annoying, aren't they? I find them a little bit annoying. But that's artificial intelligence. And they're interacting with us through language, which is great. Data analysis. Every time we do an electronic transfer or payment, there's artificial intelligence. There's all these search algorithms in Google and in Bing. There's even media streaming. God, think of Netflix. They recommend, the AI algorithms recommend the next series for you based on your past watching habits, okay? They're doing processes that only humans could do before. There's even smart cars, navigation apps, facial recognition, text editors, and social media feeds. You guys know that everything we see on Facebook, Instagram, like 80% of that was generated by artificial intelligence, okay? Because it's what they think we want to see. So this is all around us. Basically, if you have a computer, if you have a cell phone, if you're connected to the internet, you're in touch with artificial intelligence, okay? Oops, let me see if I got that. What is artificial intelligence? It's computer systems doing things that the human mind is able to do. It's simulating that thinking process. What thinking processes? Understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, creating. When I saw Christina's presentation about the 6 levels of phonetics and she used those words, I'm like, wow, that's exactly what AI can do. It understands patterns, it understands language, it analyzes data, it applies it. What is the next movie that this person is going to watch? Okay? It evaluates whether we liked that movie or not by giving the thumbs up or the thumbs down, and then it changes. It learns. So all of this is pretty amazing, but this is basically what we're talking about with artificial intelligence. Now, back here, we're not going to use much of this for teaching. There's a lot of other applications. You've probably been hearing about them in the news. But for teachers, what we can focus on, there's a certain part of artificial intelligence that's called generative AI. Now, generative AI is AI kind of like ChatGPT. It's that artificial intelligence that can interact with people through text or audio and create something. They're going to answer our question. They're going to give us what we asked for. So there are some samples. These are applications or software Please take a picture. Please use them. They're super useful. The first three, we have ChatGPT, Bing, artificial intelligence, and Google Bard. These three are very similar. You write in a prompt, and it will give you what you ask for. You want a lesson plan on the past simple, it will give you a lesson plan on the past simple. Okay? It will create written content. Written content. Toom and Gamma and even Canva on the other side, these can be used to create presentations. Posters, flyers, brochures, yep, there's a lot of them. So these will incorporate text, pictures, layout, and it'll give you the complete presentation, whatever you need. Some of the others like Genmo, Midjourney, DALL-E 2 are all image generators. We can say, I want a picture of a dog sleeping in a library next to a cat or whatever. Make it an oil painting. And it will. It'll give us that image. So all of these things, I want you to start thinking, how could I use that for my class? How could I use that to generate interest or activities with my students? And Flicky is, it's an application that makes short videos, text to videos. So it goes beyond just asking for a picture. It will give you actually a video with music, sound. If you have text, you copy the text, put it in there, and it will automate that. Okay? So some of you are shaking your heads. It seems like you know some of these. That's good. I want you to use them. How? These are some great ideas for how we can use them in teaching a language. If you want to develop a curriculum, it will develop a curriculum. If you want a weekly lesson plan, a daily lesson plan, it'll give it to you. Reading, writing, listening activities, it'll give it to you. Assessments, quizzes, practice exercises, okay? You name it, it can create it. Now I know some of you are probably saying, well, I use a textbook and all of that is inside of it, right? And that's true. A lot of editorials have all of this material for you. But I've used textbooks for 20 years and they get old, right? We teach it once and it's good. We teach it the second time. It's like, you know what? This didn't quite work. You know what? My students didn't react too well to this. This is what ChatGPT and all these other AIs will give us. They give us a little bit of freedom to incorporate material that we create, that we want, for the specific needs of our class, for their level, for their needs. All right? And we don't have to search in Google and look through pages and interest or see if we have to pay for it or not. Okay? You sign up, you put it in, and it'll give it to you. It's that easy. Other uses of AI. The first and foremost was content creation. If you want something, we can make it. A worksheet, presentation, there it is. But there's other uses. If we're giving a new topic and we would like to know, well, what are the common errors that students, my age students, high schoolers or elementary students or middle school students have with this? It'll give you a list, and then we can incorporate it into our lesson. Okay? Common mistakes, common questions. It can give you ideas for projects. If you have a difficult class, if you have a large class, how can I deal with a class the size of 40? Okay? They can give you tips. There's also classroom management. If you have difficult children, if they're not quiet, give me some ideas on how to reduce the noise level and the talking in my class. So this is like a pedagogical assistant. Now I know that we're all teachers and we've studied and we have books and experience on that, but every once in a while we get into a rut. And so when you're in that rut and you're like, I need something new, this is a really quick, easy way to jump out of it. Say, oh yeah, I remember that now. Why didn't I think of that before? So these AIs will help you renew your teaching a little bit, which I think is great. So these are all uses that the teachers can use. We can use it to create content. We can use it to help in the structure of our class, being more dynamic, thinking about what problems might come up, disciplinary or whatnot. But it's important that we have clear that the AI only works through prompts. And so the better our prompt is, the better what we get out of that AI is going to be. So really quickly, a couple of tips. Really understand what you want from the AI. If you want a lesson plan, great, but be specific. What kind of lesson plan? What exactly do you want it to include? What age group? What level? What is the specific grammar topic? The more clear, concise vocabulary, the more details you include, the better result you're going to get. And actually, I have one here. I couldn't copy and paste a lesson plan up here into the presentation, so I printed out a couple. And I want to pass them around really quickly. There are two. Could someone help me? Oh, thanks a lot. Could you pass these out to that side, and I'll pass these out to that side, to this side? So just take a look at it, and then please pass it around. I put in two different prompts, okay? So the first prompt I put in was, and this is the one that you guys have on this side, it's, give me a lesson plan about past modal verbs. Give me a lesson plan about past modal verbs. I want a lesson plan on the past modal verbs. That's what you guys have over here on this side. So if you take a look, it has a warmer, a warm-up, it has a presentation, has some controlled practice exercises. And then I'm like, I want to be a little bit more detailed. So I put in a different prompt. This one, more concise, more specific. My classes are 50 minutes. I want a 50-minute lesson plan on past modal verbs of speculation at the B2 level for students from 12 to 14 years old. Please include a warm-up, presentation, control practice, and I want a speaking task that they can do in pairs. All right? So hopefully, please take a look at it, pass it around, and hopefully you'll be able to exchange it and see what the other side has, because that's the interesting part, comparing them. The lesson plan over here, if someone has it, if you add up the time, it's like for over like an hour and 45 minutes. 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 15, 20, it keeps going. Over here in this one with the 50-minute, I think it didn't get it right. It gave me like a 55-minute lesson plan. There's like that 5-minute wrap-up at the end. But it's still very interesting to see, and I'd like you to do this exercise when you get home. Write in a couple different prompts and see what kind of lesson plan it gives you. And the ideas are pretty good. The ideas are pretty good. It's a general, doable, decent lesson plan. Can we improve it? Yes, we can improve it. All right, maybe there's something I don't like and I want to change it. Fine, go ahead and do it. But it's a quick way to get a new idea on maybe an old topic that you've been teaching the same way for far too long. Okay? Oops. All right. Now, how can we get our students to use artificial intelligence? We saw how the teacher could do it. Be careful with the prompt. Now, the students. The great thing about generative AI is that it's using these language models. And the language models are how that artificial intelligence communicates with us. It can understand many, many different languages at different levels. It doesn't matter if you make small mistakes in grammar or spelling. It will pick up on what you want. That's its job. It's trying to guess what you want. Okay? But these are some practical uses that we could use with students. Grammar. Okay? We can say, go into ChatGPT, look up a grammar explanation for past modal verbs of speculation. Look for some example, have them generate example sentences. Have them generate practice exercises. Have them generate a dialogue. Okay? So we can have them go in and they can work on the grammar using ChatGPT or other things as kind of like a tutor. For vocabulary development, Christina said that she used ChatGPT to get the emojis and to get the pronunciation spelling of those words. You can do that with your word list as well. If you have a word list, take 15 words, get example sentences, get definitions, create translations. If you're working with hot verbs like take or put, have ChatGPT come up with phrasal verbs or idiomatic expressions with these. Ask it to create a game. I need a vocabulary game to practice these 20 words. And then the students are creating this material. And then they can come and they can share it in groups in their classes. Okay? So that's one of the great ways that we can use it. Another one is writing practice. Don't get nervous. I know we don't want ChatGPT to write our students' work. Of course not. But a lot of times, they don't know what to write. And we can ask the artificial intelligence for prompts. My teacher assigned a Halloween story for this Friday, and I don't know what to write. Can I get, what are 5 prompts for a Halloween story? And then they'll get some ideas. We can even ask it to give us an outline. Give me an outline of a Halloween story. And then maybe I can just fill in the blanks. All right? So there are these ways that we can include AI even for writing assignments, but still having the students write it out in class. There's a great new an app. Do you guys know Grammarly? Grammarly has been around for a while. I use it for my emails and whatever I write in English. And there's a new AI in Grammarly, which is Grammarly Go. Grammarly Go will take your written text and give you feedback and ways to improve it. So that's a little bit higher level. We're not going to use that with our students, but with our work, feel free to use it. It's a great tool. And then for conversation practice, like I said, there's Siri, there's Alexa, there's the Google Assistant, there's chat bots. You can scope out a couple of websites and have them go onto that website and chat with the chat bot and take some screenshots to prove that they did it. Okay? But it's a way that they're using English in a real way and they're practicing. So these are a couple of practical uses for artificial intelligence. Of course, we as teachers, in order to do this, we have to keep on our toes. We have to keep up to date. We have to keep seeing and investigating and finding out what new apps are there, what are some new uses, so that we can show our students which ones we'd like them to do and what we want them to do with it. Very important that we go hand in hand. We show them how to use it. We show them how not to use it. And then at the end of a project where we ask them to use generative AI, open up the debate. So what did you think about using AI? Was the result what you expected? Was it easier or more difficult than doing it yourself? What kind of ethical questions did this raise for you? Were there any ethical questions? All right, so we can encourage that critical thinking as well. Now, the things to consider when we're working with AI is that, and I think you all know this, it's not perfect. A lot of these apps are in their beta phases, which means that they're free, which is a good thing for us. We can use them still without paying. But there's still some problems, as with any new technology. And so when you use this, you want to consider a couple of things really quickly. And these are, of course, there are going to be possible mistakes. The AI was trained to respond. It has to respond. even though that response might be a little bit incorrect, or the source might not exist. If you ask for a bibliography of 10 sources, it'll give it to you. But you want to make sure you check those because not all of them might be accurate. Potential bias or discrimination, this because it's using what's on the internet, and on the internet there's a lot of bias and discrimination. Okay? Also, the lack of emotion. It is not human. We still need that contact with people. You know, teacher-student contact is so important. It will not replace us. This is just a tool. Students need to know that. Okay? They can't show emotion. They might show it, but it's not real. It's not real empathy. And the unethical uses. We need to tell them that there are ways now to cite artificial intelligence. If you use it, you can cite that source, and because it's important that people know you used artificial intelligence. All right? So there are ethical and unethical ways to use it. So this is very important. So those are the problems. All right? Now, we went over this. I asked you at the beginning, what were some problems? What are the challenges you think you might include, you might find? And how do you think you could include AI in your classes? So I'd like to open it up. Does anybody have any suggestions? Do you know of an app that I did not put up there? Do you think you could see a use for one of those in your classes? Let me know. And I'll give you the microphone. Yes. Mm-hmm. Sure, and thank you for that. One of the projects I used with my students this semester was, I have an advanced English class. They're like at the C1 level. They're very, very good students. And so I wanted to do something different with them. And I'm like, all right, we're going to get into teams, and each team, you are now going to become a marketing content creation company. Okay? Two of the teachers at our school had written books. And so I took a synopsis of the book and I gave it to the different teams. And I'm like, I just got in touch with this author, a little bit of role playing. I just got in touch with this author, these two authors. They need new book covers and 3 images based on this book that they wrote. Here's the synopsis. I want you to use AI, and I gave them 2 or 3 of the different options. I want you to use AI. I want you to come up with images, and I'm going to invite the authors into our classroom, and you're going to present, and you have to try to sell your book cover to these authors. And one of the things I asked them to do, getting back to your question, is when you write in your prompt, it has to be in English, and I want you to take a screenshot, and you're going to show it to me, right? Because the idea is the first time is never the one you stick with, right? They're rewriting their prompt several times, which helps them write, helps improve their writing. Okay? Also with images, there's all this new vocabulary with lighting, and is it a close-up? Is it wide angle? Do I want it in a oil painting or anime or animation? So we went over some of that vocabulary, and they gave me some really good results. Actually, could we leave the presentation, and could you open up one of the other files, please? Hi? Could you open up one of the files, the one that says tenants, please? Tenants first. So this is the work of some of my students. I just blacked out their names. So this was the name of the book. This was the book cover that they created for, this is a poetry book that one of my colleagues was working on, and the way they presented it to her was amazing. They had to read the synopsis, they had to understand, they read some of the poems, and then based on that, they put in a prompt into an image generator, and this is what they came up with. And then they persuaded her. They're like, this is what we think this image expresses. And you know that people buy books based on the cover 80% of the time, and so we think this is going to sell more books. They also had to do it for 2 of the poems. Can you scroll up? This is a poem called Furtivo. It was about a kiss. And this is a picture of a red ice rose. And you think, what's the connection? They made a beautiful connection with how the rose represents love, red represents passion. It's ice and it's starting to melt because that first kiss doesn't last. And they really got into it. It was really amazing. They did another one. This was a poem about Tonio. Here they didn't quite hit the mark, but the poem was about a homeless person, how he traveled with no possessions and different things like that. But they read the poem, and based on that, this is what they got out of it. And then they talked about it, and they explained what they got out of it. So you can have your students do this. Even if they're elementary school kids, you could open up ChatGPT. If you have internet and everything in your school, you could open it up in class and say, we're going to write a story about Christmas. But first we're going to make a picture. What do you want to include in that picture about Christmas? And have them give you the details. Type it in and have them evaluate that picture that they created as a class. And then use that picture. Okay, now class, we're going to use this picture to write a short story. Please, in your notebook, go ahead and write. Okay? So there's a lot of different applications that we can use. Try to be creative, but thank you for that. I kind of went off on a tangent, but thank you very much. The other book, if you can open it up, it's called Nieves en La Habana. Here I asked them to create the character. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. So this is the main character. This is what they thought that main character would look like. There's another representation, because they had to do the character, they had to do the world that it was set in. Can you scroll? So this was their world. And one more, then they had to do the book cover. Okay? Option 1, option 2. Go up again. This is the one that they chose. And then one more, they have it all together with the title. All right. Brand Scribe, that was the name of their marketing generation content group. So thank you very much. Our students can do incredible things. Really, really incredible things. And this was just with an image generator. Okay? I think they used Genmo or one of those. But it was very, very interesting. And I really think that as it helped my class, I think it will help yours as well. Okay? Any questions, any comments, any other creative uses on how you think you can use AI in your classrooms? Or if you have a certain situation you'd like to share it with me, maybe I can help you decide how you could use AI to solve it. No? Okay. Well, then that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for participating. No. The idea is experiment. Please don't be afraid of it. Experiment. Try it out. We're not going to know unless we try it and make some mistakes. So please go ahead, share. There's my email. Please feel free to contact me if you have any other questions, okay? Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
No te me vayas. Agradecemos a Brian. Ya compartió sus contactos, redes sociales.
No redes sociales.
Email. Okay, le voy a pedir a Dante o a Irma. Allá afuera, si alguien me ayuda. Por favor. A nombre de la Secretaría de Educación del Estado de Jalisco, queremos presentarte este pequeño detalle de Recrea Academy para que lo pongas en tu escritorio. Creo que ya tienes colección con el del año pasado. Y un reconocimiento por parte de Recrea Academy 2023 al conferencista Brian Lawrence Kilkenny. Muchas felicidades. Y también aquí un detalle. Y por parte de la Dirección de Lenguas Extranjeras, tenemos también un reconocimiento por todo el apoyo que nos brindas, por tu disponibilidad y por tu presencia aquí con nosotros. Le traemos un pequeño reconocimiento por parte de la Dirección de Lenguas Extranjeras.
Muchísimas gracias. Gracias.
Bueno, muchas gracias, Brian.
Gracias.